Hello everybody. We are going to be mixing up some skin color today, but before I show you how to do that, I want to point out that we've probably read this story, The Color of Us, and we've also listened to this story, All the Colors We Are. And by listening to both of those stories, you've learned that we all have different skin color, of course, but how skin color comes about. So in art class, we are going to be making some portraits of ourselves, and we need to have the correct skin color. So this is the blank piece of paper you're going to be painting with your skin tone, but you're going to get a paper plate so you can actually mix the color on here. So in your egg carton of color, you're going to have brown and white. These are the two colors you're going to use most. You're also going to have a little bit of black. You're going to have some orange, a little bit of red, maybe a little bit of yellow. We probably won't use yellow and red all that much, but we'll use 1, 2, 3, and 4, the orange color. So I'm going to set this outside of the screen. The first thing is you're going to get your plate, and I'm going to come by and give everybody, let's see, I'm going to give everyone some brown paint to begin with. And I'll give you some white paint to begin with. And it looks like I've probably added a little bit too much here, but we'll start with this. And we're going to mix this together on our plate. And you want to keep it in kind of like a puddle of color because you're going to need this. So we're all starting something like this. Now, for some, this might be the perfect skin tone, but for others, you might need more. So this is where your egg carton comes in. You're going to get a popsicle stick, and if you need it darker, you would add more brown. I'm going to make my skin tone, which is a little light. So I'm first going to add more white to this. So I'm going to just scoop out some white and mix that. And along the way, it's kind of nice because you can see, like, well, maybe this is the color for me. Maybe it isn't. Okay. Now, and I'm trying to keep it in a puddle, I'm also going to come and use some orange because our skin color just doesn't just have one color in it. Have you ever been to maybe Home Depot and watched them mix up paint? If your family painted your living room or your bedroom, and if you watch the machine that mixes up the paint colors, you notice that even when they're mixing just white paint, there's a lot of color that goes into it besides white. All right, so I'm thinking I still need to lighten this up and continue. It's getting better and better the more white I add. I might just raise my hand and ask Mrs. Lawrence to come by and give me more white, and that's what I can do. All right, so this is looking pretty good. All right, so it's kind of like a skin color recipe. And if I want to test it, I can take my brush now and just, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so this is a light skin tone, but what about a darker skin tone? Now I only have one plate for my lesson video, so we're going to have to mix it over here. So if I have a darker skin tone, so there's my brown, oops, and we're going to start with a little bit of white, and we're going to mix. And again, you might say, mixing this, this kind of does match my skin tone. But you might say, no, it really doesn't. I need it to be a little bit darker. So the amount of black that I'm going to add to this is a very small amount. And we're just going to mix that in. And I'm going to add just a little bit of orange. Yep. And you can see that it's looking a lot better, more like a natural skin tone. Now, again, you might say, oh, Mrs. Lawrence, come by, I need more. And I can give you a little bit more brown if that's what you need. and mix that in. When you're ready to test it out, you're just going to take your paintbrush, and I still have that on there, and say, oh, yeah, perfect. That matches nicely. So when you go ahead to painting, I'm going to take my brush, and you want to paint, and hopefully you have enough of your color. You want to fill up the whole paper. So that's why we're working on a plate. So you have this nice puddle of color. Try to keep your painting in one direction. So don't go like this and like that, because you can see all the lines in your painting. So just a nice up and down brush strokes, okay? So I'm not going to finish mine here, but that's mixing up skin tone. Have fun.